Hi there, I'm Holly McDonald with the Costa Mesa Pod, where we discuss all things concerning the lifestyle, businesses, and activities that make Costa Mesa such a great place to live. Today I have Robert with Improv Collective. Hey, Robert.
Hey, howdy, what's up?
Hi, so glad to have you. Robert's going to tell us a little bit about theater and all of his adventures here in Costa Mesa.
Yeah, you want to just start with talking about the theater?
Yeah, well, introduce yourself and then,
Okay.
Go.
I'm Robert Souders. I am artistic director at the Improv Collective over at Fairview and Baker. It's an improv space, one of two improv spaces in Orange County. So it's just us and our friends at Improv City down in Tustin, and we do classes, shows, we do sketch, we do adaptations of other theater. It's a super fun spot. And now, as of mid last year, we are a fun free nonprofit, which is super fun.
That is awesome. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that. Like, why did you take it in that direction, or why did Bill decide to?
So we started off in Costa Mesa in like 2012, and we were like, just like six people doing comedy shows. We weren't very funny at the time. And then we just kept doing shows, and more friends started like wanting to do it with us, and then we like grew to like 25 people after a few years, and everyone's like volunteering the whole time. It's just a community thing. It's just a bunch of people doing improv, having fun, coming to each other's shows, supporting each other. And then a few years later, we're like up to like 60 people, and same thing, everyone's just supporting everyone. And then to where we're now, we have over 100 different performers over the course of the year. We have well over 100 shows over the course of the year, and it made sense because so many people are volunteering and just being a part of the community and just helping everyone else that it was worth applying for. And luckily we got it, because if you apply for a 501c3 nonprofit, you don't get it right away. So we were lucky to even get it, and it's been super great since, because realistically, we are like community ran. We are supported by our performers. Costa Mesa has been one of our biggest supporters since day one. All four of our locations have been in Costa Mesa, two on Victoria and two on Baker. And it's just made the most sense, because no one, like the entire board, no one gets paid. Everyone's just a labor of love, putting up more and more theater. So that was kind of how we decided to get to it. And we got lucky that we got it. It's super fun. It's been super helpful.
That's amazing. I went to one of the shows back in the day when you guys were over on Victoria Street. Yeah.
And it was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was like 10 years ago probably.
Mm-hmm.
But it was so great. There's so much energy, and just like, it's always inspiring to watch people. Like, it's such a skill to do improv. It really.
Yeah. Our biggest thing is we teach classes every Wednesday for $10 from 7 to 9. It's a drop-in. It's beginner friendly, because improv our goal is to make it look like we're talented, but really we're just following kind of the rules that we've been taught and then adding our own creativity in there. That's kind of what we just do. Like, everyone has the same understanding of the rules, but it's just up to you, your life experience, your version of comedy, your version of storytelling that you add in. You basically plug and play and bounce off the other person. We talk about it like it's like if you're doing a two-person scene, you have two writers of the same play, and so you're just working together to write a scene. So it looks like we're talented. We're just really good at working with each other.
Yeah, no, I mean, it looks like it's, totally rehearsed, and just the way that people come up with like these funny skits on the fly is a talent for sure.
Yeah, so I'm super lucky. I used to think I was funny, and then every day we get new like people coming in. I'm like, dang, these brand new people are all better than me. Oh well, very good for everyone. But it's so great how talented Costa Mesa and all the people coming to Costa Mesa are. It's been super fun for us.
Yeah, so I want to touch a little bit upon like you and your background. How did you get into this crazy world?
Oh, great. Yeah. So I was a Calvary Chapel kid right down the street, and all sports all the time. Calvary Chapel wrestling like took over my life, and just all sports. I got to my freshman year of OCC, and I had a knee injury. I had an ACL surgery, so I couldn't do any sports or do anything. And then like the first week I was here, I saw a sign for an improv club, and I was like, I gotta do something. And it was just off to the races. Everyone was so cool. There was 5 or 6 guys there, and we just had fun playing around with each other. And at one point, you want to do something outside of a college club. So we were lucky enough to pair with the Children's Theater on Victoria Street. And, we're really bad. But we got lucky. We trained a lot. We practiced a lot. We spent to it, and it just more and more people kept coming. And there's a lot of talented people from Fullerton. Their theater closed down Spectacles, and it was a godsend because I was doing a majority of the teaching, and all these fantastic instructors came down. So it went from one instructor, me, to having 8 or 9 really talented instructors. 2019, right before COVID, and that was the biggest game changer. These kids are so talented and so fun. Ever since that knee injury got me, I started improv.
So I feel like we skipped a couple of steps though. So how do you go from like being, just in the improv community to now like you're the teacher? Because how does that happen?
Yeah. Okay. If you flash back to like 2012, Costa Mesa, there was no improv. So being like a sports dude, you like want to make things happen, and you want to practice, you want to rehearse. So there was just no other. We had no instructors. Orange County, almost no improv. You had to drive all the way to LA, which I did, to get instruction. But, $450 a class when you're 18, 19, 20 years old was really hard. Especially in 2012, even before that. And so it was kind of just forced into position. I got really lucky. A buddy named Jeff Ambis, who was just an incredible promoter, decided to join me, and a very funny man. And I just was forced into position, being the one who was willing to write their name on a piece of paper. Somebody has to sign a lease. Somebody has to sign a contract. And so I was the somebody, and then it just being the only one for years. I got really lucky. People stayed. They liked my teaching a little bit, enough to stay and bring their friends and then become teachers themselves. A lot of those people teach at our theater now, which is super fun. I'm also very blessed around that time to travel to Scotland and England to go perform improv, where I have a lot of friends that teach me over there too. So I'm very lucky that I'm just always in the right place at the right time and just willing to say yes. So willing to say yes has gotten me a lot farther, especially since improv was almost non-existent back then.
I love stories like that. I mean, like you said, 10, 15 years ago, it wasn't even here in Orange County.
Mm-hmm.
And just because you were like a person that this is like a yes person, almost like I just have to make this happen. How do we make it happen? And you just did it. Look what you brought to the area. So cool.
It's been the best. It's been the best for my life too. And it's so one of the hardest things as we get a little older is like still having friends and stuff. And the community has been so great because it's like a built-in friends group that comes and supports me, and I can come watch their shows. So it's been much more helpful for me than almost anything else because of just having people around me to joke around with and support me. So I like it.
So like today, now the theater has its whole nonprofit status. So what sort of things are going on? What can people know about this place?
Awesome. So we are super lucky to pair with Starlight Theater OC, Children's Theater by day, improv comedy by night. But they're growing. They're fantastic. They're a fantastic children's theater. And we're also growing. So we can't spend, we can't share the space just because of a great thing, how much we've grown. So being a nonprofit has been super helpful because now we can accept donations. We obviously the tax exemptions are very huge. If you're somebody who has to pay taxes, you realize that. But this gives us a real good opportunity to branch off into our own and be just a full-time comedy school, improv school, and comedy space, especially with Costa Mesa being the city of the arts. It's really like the spot. Don't know where else I would rather do it, because Costa Mesa is the city of the arts. I've worked all over Costa Mesa. I just like it here so much, and it's so central for all of Orange County. Being really only 2 improv spaces, us, Improv City, and Tustin are the only 2 spots. You need to be somewhat central. So we have people that come down from Fullerton. We have people that come up from Mission Viejo. And then we have classes, and we have regularly classes. We have people come down from LA and down from Pomona because we're one of the only spots. We do a lot of classes. Classes are one of the biggest things. Shows are fun. I'm a huge fan of shows, but classes, it's just so much more important because that's where you get to learn with others and spend time with your peers, not just sitting and watching a show, but interacting with each other. I went off topic. You asked how being a nonprofit is great, but it's like giving us this opportunity to open our own space. As people, especially Costa Mesa has been super kind to donate, we have a much more um, like a very strong chance of success of owning our own space and not splitting with another theater. So, which splitting with another theater is normal. Most people do it, but it'd be really nice to be on our own because
Yeah.
it's just us.
When do you guys, I know you mentioned like the Wednesday drop-in class, like, but you said there's lots of classes. So are these all going on at the theater or how does that work?
It's great. We actually do rent 3 locations. There's a recovery center, the barn, at the end of Costa Mesa. We use their barn they rent to us. We use a photography studio off the 55. Because we have so many people, so many groups that need places to rehearse and we have to rent 3 different spots. That's why having our own place is going to be so huge to us. We have every Wednesday without fail. We have classes 7 to 9, $10. No matter what, there'll be a teacher there teaching beginner friendly improv. So if you don't do improv, you're nervous, it's the most welcoming environment you're going to find in 90 miles of here to do improv. We also have 101 going all the time. Our next 101, I don't know when this is going to air, but I believe it starts January 26th.
Okay.
So that's our next 101. But we also, after this one starts, 4 weeks after that one, we're going to release another one. So we'll have another 101 class. That's where you get to spend 6 weeks with one instructor and the same group of people and do improv. If you are seasoned and you've done some improv before, this is this is what I do the most. It's called Rep City. It's on Tuesdays, and it's where you just do improv. No lesson. No one teaches you. No one coaches you. You just meet up like you're doing practice rehearsal with a bunch of strangers, and I show you some forms or some games or some things to do, and you just do them. It's just improv without a lesson. So those are our biggest ones.
Boy, I can see like the similarities to sports and the way you have it set up.
Oh, yeah, I feel so bad because not every theater kid, because we have a lot of theater kids, obviously, are not sports people. And I'm like, we have to do this. And they're like, Robert, calm down. I'm like, you're right. This isn't football anymore.
Yeah, it's so funny, but that's probably part of the drive that made it so successful.
Yeah, very lucky that was like instilled in me growing up. Very lucky. It helped just pushing forward.
So a couple of other questions come to mind, like the type, I don't know if we can say like the age ranges or like, if somebody's thinking about coming, but maybe they are a little apprehensive, like what, am I going to be out of place or whatever? Like what, you get all walk?
Are you talking the shows or the classes?
The classes or yeah.
Oh, perfect. So we teach, okay, so we understand that everyone's a stranger. So when we do the 101 and the drop-ins on Wednesdays, those are essentially rated PG. There's no reason, although comedy, we all hear swearing in comedy and crazy jokes that make us laugh. There's no reason when you are learning with strangers to have to be crossing those extreme lines. So whenever we're teaching those entry levels, there's gotta be a boundary set of there's no reason to cuss out your scene partner, even though there's funny. We've all seen rants on stage where people are screaming and ranting and swearing, and those are great, but that's not a place for you to learn with strangers. So on any of our beginner friendly things, it's kind of keep it PG. Whatever you do with your team or your rehearsal group is up to you guys. But when we're with a bunch of people who are there just to have fun and we don't know each other, we got to keep it so that there's a positive environment.
Cool.
But the shows stretch a little farther. Shows are a little more PG-13 or more. So,
yeah. Awesome. Yeah. And so are there any shows coming up or how does that work?
Yes, okay, so we do shows every Friday and Saturday at 9:30, no matter what. So there's another one, Friday and Saturday, 9:30, there's always a show. And then 99% of the time, there's a free show at 10:30 that's only 20 minutes. Usually it's an experimental show, something that's a little bit more offbeat, or a newer group, or just a wild idea. Is one of our biggest things is that people have ideas and people are willing to do things, but they either can't afford or get a contract to get a space to make it realistic. So we put up essentially anybody that's willing to put in the effort, we'll give a 1030 slot to. Anybody like that's willing to show up to the theater and pitch their idea and put rehearsal behind it. I can't say no. No one, so many people said no to me when I was trying to, it took us like 60 applications to get our first theater. Nobody wanted to rent to a bunch of random people with, no money. So I can't say no. Everyone said no to me. But there's one show I do want to talk about a little bit. It's our Improv Comedy League. We just auditioned. The first shows are February 1st, and then it's every first and third Saturday for 4 months. It's basically, we took a bunch of teams from all over, we created teams from all over Orange County. So there's a Costa Mesa team, a Garden Grove team, a Huntington Beach team, a Newport team, a team. And over the next few months, bracket style, they're all going to compete. So you check the schedule and show up to Costa Mesa and make sure Costa Mesa goes to the finals, because it's super fun. I coached the Costa Mesa team one time. It was super fun. We made it all the way to the finals, and sadly we lost, but we made it to the finals. That one's super fun. And it's one of our biggest shows. People love it. It's the easiest to understand show. It's like put together like a sports competition, like a sports game. You get points for laughing, for people laughing at your scenes. You do silly things with really funny themes, and it goes on as a full tournament. So your team can make it through the tournament, go to playoffs, and then go to the finals. And it's the most exciting part of our season. It's the first 4 months of the year. That's the big one.
That's fun. And also it kind of shows like your community pride and everything like that too.
Oh, so much. I'm so pro Costa Mesa. You have no idea.
We touched a little bit on it, but like Costa Mesa is the city of the arts. So it's a great place for this theater, and that it's super supportive. Is there anything else you want to throw in about Costa Mesa and like what you like about it aside from the arts?
About me personally?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yes, this is going to sound maybe silly, but it's how easy it is to use the Facebook page, Costa Mesa Buzz, and pages like that to get help in any sort of way. We reached out. We have a big banquet every year where we give awards. We need to raise money for the upcoming season. And people shot ideas at us, and another restaurant, Simply Fish on Adams, helped us out. So it's super cool how easy Costa Mesa is at supporting kind of our local stuff. Often I do wonder if I could have done this in another city, because last year Huntington Beach had an improv theater close. Fullerton had their improv theater close. Anaheim had an improv theater close. Irvine lost an improv theater. So I always wonder, I'm like, we were able to do it here. I don't wonder consistently, like, can I have done this in a different city? Because it's been so helpful here. This is the place that gave me a location too. Like, this is the place that rented to us.
Yeah. Well, I think there's like such a sense of energy here. Obviously, we do have the artistic tie-in, so it would make sense. But you've got like the energy from the college students and whatnot. So there's always going to be, just like you fell into it. Like people are going to be looking for something to do.
Yeah, that's what some people tell me is one of their biggest things for just being at the collective is it's $5 cash, $7 card every Friday and Saturday. So it's just something to do. It's easy. We're always there. We don't skip shows. So Friday and Saturday, if you're ever bored, you're ever looking, some shows are super wild and you're going to be like, wow, this is super weird. Like last week, it was super great, or not before the end of the year, we do a teen, like soap opera, like kind of like Degrassi or 90210 style show. It's one of our most popular shows called Starlight High. And they did that show, but as a Christmas Carol. And it was like, it wasn't advertised that. It was just people showed up and they saw the teen soap opera version of A Christmas Carol. We have a Harry Potter team that performs nearly every month. So you check the schedule and you're like, oh, there's a Harry Potter team. I remember Harry Potter. It was part of my childhood. People show up to that. And then a bazillion regular improv shows, regular comedy shows, and a heck of a lot of like just fun artistic things people are doing. So we're always there. It's always something for someone to do.
I think it's really cool too, just in this age where so many people are kind of disconnected. I'm guilty of it myself with the phones and everything like that. But this is the place where like you only are going to get that improv experience when you're actually there and like totally present. So
Yeah.
I think it's good.
Yeah, and if you are nervous about getting called on, don't worry. You can participate or not at our space. Some improv spaces, when I grew up, they were like there was a lot of like bullying people into like talking and presenting stuff. And that era of crowd work is kind of past. So you either participate or you don't. It's up to you. You can pay your $5 and sit in the back quietly and enjoy the show. Or when we ask for what was your one of your grandparents' professions, you can yell the interesting profession your grandfather had 60 years ago. So we just try to keep it super mellow. Especially in a world where we have so many like work from home people and people just want to get outside and spend time with other people. That has been a huge part. I'm going to say post-COVID, one of the biggest things for us is the work from home crowd who just want to be around other souls. Just spend some time with some people. You can just laugh with them. You can walk in late and leave early. It doesn't matter. It's just being around people, watching an interesting piece of art and going home, or a step further, taking a class, showing up on a Wednesday, signing up for a one-on-one, being around those people. It's such a different world, in my opinion, than pre-COVID, where people are they need some version of human connection sometimes, which is luckily super fun for me and most of our community. That's what we love to do too.
Yeah, I mean, I think you talked me into coming in on a Wednesday. It sounds like
You should. It's super fun.
Yeah. So I know we talked a little bit about, some of the workshops, some of the shows. Is there anything else that like the community can help you out with? Like give your pitch. Maybe there's something else that the community can help you guys out with.
Great. Actually, I really appreciate you for that one because this is I'm newer to being a nonprofit guy. This is like I said, we're a for-profit theater in the beginning, so I'm newer to this world, and the kind of things I love, I'm very open to listening to is I'll plug my email, or do you put it in the comments? Sorry.
You can plug it and I'll put it in the comments. Go for
Okay,
it.
perfect. Improv Collective Rob.com. If you, this is our big year for fundraising, and I've never fundraised like a real theater guy before. I've always been just the guy putting up, shows with his buddies. So I'm open to hearing any and all advice or help for how to fundraise properly, as well as if you have any theater location, like places like we turned into a theater anywhere in Costa Mesa. My dream, because we rent so much in Costa Mesa, is to stay in Costa Mesa. That is my absolute dream. So if you know somebody that has a space available that you think might work for a small black box theater, please reach out to me. I check my email and I'm very willing to listen to everybody. And lastly, if you go to improvcollective.fun, we pay extra for the fun, so you don't have to, is our slogan. Improvcollective.fun, you can donate via PayPal or Venmo. Everything helps. We really like keeping tickets at $5. I was really inspired by the CEO of Costco, where the story is when they tried to raise the hot dog to over $1.50, he like threw a chair and threatened everybody. Because it's been so nice because we have, in this day and age where a lot of people are struggling with different things, I really hate the idea of having to raise above $5. It's so much cooler for us. We've been so blessed. We really have. If for when donations roll in via the website or in person, I want to keep it attainable for everybody, especially if there's some kid that wants to take a class but doesn't have the money. I love being able to like cut it to something affordable to them because we have people that help out. So the biggest things you can do for the Improv Collective in Costa Mesa, I'll take any advice on proper fundraising. So our first year was as a true nonprofit, so I'm learning. I would love to hear any spaces that have to do with where a small black box can be, and any way that you can donate. Those are the three like biggest things. And just come to a show or come to a class. It's all super fun.
Yeah, you should offer up like scholarships and stuff, or let people contribute scholarships, for your class.
Yeah, I like that idea because generally people will do it, but I actually like the idea. Putting a separate click-through button that if they click through that one, that goes directly to scholarships only.
Ooh.
I like that. So that inspired me to do that because that is one of our biggest things. Usually we just pull it out of the main budget, but if people can directly donate to scholarships instead by their choice, that's a lot cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's how I work. Sorry, you said something, and then it reminded me of
No.
another idea.
I feel like you're going to get off of this podcast and you're going to go to your website person or whatever and set up that page.
Literally, that's the text message after this ends.
Well, Robert, thank you for all that you have done in the creative space in Costa Mesa with the improv world. All right. Well, thanks so much, Robert.
You're the best.
Bye.
Bye.